just left the Mercedes-Benz India headquarters and plant at Sarkan outside Pune.
That's the stage 2 GLA going in for like a beauty treatment here at the decal place.
Hagia Sophia back there. We've got the Grand Mosque, the Blue Mosque right in front of us.
The Anadolu, Turkey's first domestic mass production vehicle. So Istanbul Grand Prix coming to an end, and you have Drove in the GLA coming in at the final lap.
We've reached the Turkish-Bulgarian border.
Hercules is here. This is the biggest landmark in all of Plovdiv. Moscow, which essentially means son of Moscow. Finally get to see a new country, Romania.
So right now we're in the main street of Bucharest. It's called the Victory Street.
So this is it, the Transfiguration Highway, Romania. The amazing Transfiguration Highway brought us to the charming little town of Sibiu. After a much-needed night of sleep and some hearty breakfast the morning after, we took the adventure back on the road. So it's day 7 of the Great Overland Adventure, and it's goodbye Sibiu, goodbye Romania, and it's going to be hello Hungary and hello Budapest. But I won't smile so early because we're about 600 kilometers away from Budapest.
Now we've covered about half the distance to our destination of Budapest. And the roads have been an interesting mix. It's not been your traditional autobahns or fast highways. We've seen a lot of country roads, like you can see in the background right now, running through vast amounts of farmland, lots of sunflower farms, lots of wheat farms. And with not much traffic, you can actually see the rural countryside of Romania.
Guessing this is going to be so far the longest drive we've done so far. And guess what? Yet another border to cross. We're kicking things off on day 8 of the Great Overland Adventure, feeling a lot more refreshed. The things to look forward to on day 8, we're going to drive the Trabi. Of course, that's the East Germany car that was quite famous before the Berlin Wall came down. Not sure if Ishan's going to let me drive that because the last time I took the Mokovich away from him. So probably I'm going to give Ishan the chance to drive the Trabi. Hi, Bala from NDTV.
Hello.
That's Ishan from AutoX. Nice, beautiful car that you've got here. So do you do this often? Do you have this collection? Because I can see other old cars as well. Why is this special?
This one is from East Germany.
Okay.
It has 2 cylinders. It's about 600 cc's. It's made of
Plastic? Reinforced? Yeah, there is some plastic in this.
Somewhere you can find some metal in it, and there is some wood in it. the door, for example.
It's the old two-stroke engine.
Yes.
So
yes.
basically,
It's
it's
engine oil with the petrol
Yes,
before you put
yes,
it
you
in.
have
Yeah.
to-
Actually, this would a more apt thing would be. This is more an auto rickshaw with a car's body. It's similar engine, two-stroke, two-cylinder, 600cc.
the tuk-tuk. The tuk-tuk.
Ah.
It's sort of like a tuk-tuk.
Very
engine
popular in
car.
India. Ishan, you want to take a drive in this one?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Now try to start.
Whoa, that's loud. And it's vibrating.
Very comfortable. Quite easy to drive actually. Once you get used to the gear shift, it's actually pretty easy.
You want to check what's under the hood?
Yes, we should. So that's the fuel tank. That's a pretty small fuel tank. How many liters is that, Amy?
22.
That's it? See, you can see the steering column coming in. It's got leaf spring suspension.
I think the plastic and the cardboards don't do any good to the NVH levels inside the cabin. It must be the world's worst, noisiest cabin ever.
That's true, you know, but in today's counterculture, this is becoming more popular amongst the youth.
It's hip.
It's hip. It's more in it with the times, you know.
All right, thank you so much, Timmy. It was a pleasure driving this.
And your keys. Thank you.
Right.
What you see here is a Mercedes-Benz 1113. You could say it's the grandfather to the modern Unimog, but it's a brilliant-looking old truck used as a fire truck in this case. Has all-wheel drive, so all-terrain capability. These are for the loud sirens of the fire truck, the big warning lights, space for a big crew. I think it's a 6-person crew that can fit in easily, and a lot of water, which is needed for putting out the fire. And the one thing that you have to notice about this truck is the size of the steering wheel. I mean, this is pre-power steering, so you needed all the strength your arms had to turn the steering like this. It's easier when the truck's moving, much harder when the truck's standing still.
So we're right now in the Pest side of things, not a real translation, but the Pest is the more modern side of Budapest. It's got this beautiful Parliament House. This is the third largest Parliament building, as you can see. It's a massive structure. It has some 1,500 rooms on the inside and some 90 statues on the outside. A total of 9 bridges actually connect Buda to Pest. We crossed 2 of them today. You got that beautiful Danube River right in the middle.
We also went through the Chain Bridge, which is probably one of the most iconic sites of Budapest.
Yeah.
It was the biggest suspension bridge in the world.
Interesting to see how, the modern side, which is the Pest, connects with the older side, which is Buda. And there is also the Obuda, which is on the northern side, but it doesn't come together for the name, of course. And when the 3 sides, the Buda, Pest and the Obuda side came together, I think they built this Parliament House to commemorate the sovereignty of the nation.
So, Bala, what's on the menu for lunch today?
Well, you're in Hungary, so, the idea is to be a little hungry before actually trying out the local cuisine. And I have got this beef cheek with some red wine, a little bit of cheese here. So just the presentation looks interesting, and I'm not sure if I want to disturb it, but it's beef, so it should be tasty. What about yours?
Chicken paprika with parsley dumplings.
Yeah.
Does smell very nice.
So let's dig in.
Yes, please.
The meat is so soft. My eyes are, filling up with tears. The Hungarians like to eat their food, and, there is no sharing like we do in India. The thing about trying out local cuisine is you have to have some basic an acquired taste for trying out foreign cuisine.
So we have a long drive left after this?
Yes, and it's not about the long drive. I think it's about the big border that we're going to cross to Western Europe. Vienna, the city of music, was our entry point to Western Europe. A long drive from Budapest meant we only reached Vienna at sundown, and the next morning had quite a pleasant surprise in store. Finally, the rain gods have woken up. Well, it's day 9 from the sizzling heat of the last 1 week. We finally got some cool weather this morning. So we are driving around the famous Ringstrasse, or the Ring Street like they call it in English. All the museums and all the main monuments are located around the Ringstrasse. So some of the monuments that you do want to explore when you're around the Ringstrasse include the Parliament House. It's a magnificent structure. And of course, the famous Vienna State Opera. So we're off to the Technical Museum, which is slightly off the beaten path, not the real touristy thing to do, but it's something that will interest the automobile enthusiasts. So I'm looking forward to get into this one. So for the next leg of our Great Overland journey, this is the one that we're going to be using. No, I'm just kidding, Ishan. This looks pretty impressive. Like, look at these wheels. We can pretty much, fly across continents. No more border crossings anymore with this one. Nobody's going to stop us and ask for passports if you're in this one, right?
Yeah, you've got an active imagination. I'll give you that, Bala. It's in a steam engine, so you'll be, shoveling all the coal. So I don't mind driving it.
But this is part of the impressive collection, the Technical Museum that we're standing on here in Vienna. Just look at it. You have a satellite that is hanging from the roof. How many museums can claim that?
And when they mean technical, it's not just all forms of transportation. Yes, there are different locomotives here, but you also see heavy industries. So you see a smelting core, you see different kind of steam engines, automobiles, planes, motorcycles, and daily use appliances. So you see vacuum cleaners, you see toasters, you see coffee machines. So they're trying to explain all kind of technicals to you.
But we're here for something special, aren't we?
Yes, what we're going to do is something not available to other visitors. The museum has a speciality. They investigate cars that were stolen, or rather robbed by the Nazis during their years of dominance. And that's something that the investigators are going to help us look into.
You mean we are going to help them? And I think it's time to put my Sherlock Holmes hat. And Dr. Watson, you want to lead the way?
Please.
Christian Klosch, Bala from NDTV. They call me Sherlock Holmes of India, and this is my assistant, Dr. Watson. I heard you need some help cracking a case.
Well, one of the most prominent cases is the case of Sigmund Freud, the famous professor from Vienna. He used to drive in this car. He used to sit in the back. He was in the possession of 2 cars. These cars were stolen by the Nazis in 1938.
So that's the chauffeur, I'm guessing.
Right.
Usually it's the chauffeur who's the one I suspect, usually for cases like this.
We found the daughter of this man. She's still living in Vienna.
Oh, the driver's daughter.
The driver's daughter, yeah.
Okay.
And she gave us the documents and the photos. And now we are hoping that we get some more information from you or from the public.
Yeah, when we're driving around, we'll keep an eye out for these 2. So what are the other cases that you've solved? I mean, I see this family that you've...
The woman is Rosa Glückselig. 6 years ago, when we discovered that one of our cars in our collection was confiscated by the Nazis in 1938. And so we found out the name of the original owner of the car. It was a Jewish woman called Rosa Glückselig. And this is her son, And this is a photo of him in 2008, and that's the granddaughter of Rosa Glückselig.
Is this car at the museum
This
right
car is at the museum right now because we gave it back to him. Then he decided to sell the car. And so we were able to buy the car back from him.
Okay.
And now it's in our permanent exhibition.
Should we go have a look at it?
Yes, sure.
All right.
This is a special one because it's in the museum since 1950 and nobody touched this car during that time. So it's saved for 70 years.
Wow. You know, of all the cars that we've driven so far, this dashboard looks the most classiest.
True. This was a
Glossy
fairly nice car to have in the 30s.
And one thing is also very special with this car. In 1930s, in Austria, we drove on the left side. Like
Oh, yeah.
In India?
Great Britain, like in India.
Yeah.
The correct side.
And, and this car was built in Italy, and they used to drive on the right side at the time. So
Yeah.
it's
It's a left-hand
other
drive.
side.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is a special one. I'm sure the museum looks fairly big. Any more interesting cars on display that we can check out?
Yes.
Lots and lots of old cars. Ishan, getting excited?
Yes, they have the Ford Model T, which was the first common man's car. Then, of course, you have the Volkswagen. And that's an Austrian car, actually. Steyr is an Austrian manufacturer.
And this is very famous, is the Steyr 50.
Was this the sort of Austrian version of the Beetle?
Right. It was built from 1936 to 1939. And this car was built for the Austrian mountains.
Oh, okay.
This car is very special because it's one of the first Porsche car, and it's electric. And it's from 1900. So the engine is here
On the wheels?
on the wheels. Yeah.
Is this the masterpiece of the collection?
Right. So this is our Mercedes Silber Pfeil, back from the 1950.
This silver file, which means silver arrows, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
Silver arrows. This is the car that won the 1954 and 55 Formula One championship. So this is
So well
streamlined
ahead.
body. This is like start of the aerodynamic era in the race cars. This is when Mercedes stopped competing in Formula One. There were about 100-something people killed by a racing car. It happened in 55. So for about 50 years after that, Mercedes never competed in Formula One.
And guess what? The Tata Nano makes a very special appearance here at the Techniques Museum. I'm quite surprised to see it, frankly. It is a modern car standing amidst all this old world charm of automobiles.
True, true. And I think for a market like Austria, where the customer is very mature with regards to cars, it'll be interesting to see how they view a small, affordable car coming from India.
It would have been the world's first cheapest electric car.